Hello there. Hi. Assalamu alaikum. This is Amnah here from My English Matters. I am one of the creators of My English Matters, where we help Malaysians and English learners improve their English through our online courses, our workshops, and our membership program. So I'm live today. It's Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday, 29th of September. And if you are watching me live right now, please say hello. I do like to see your comments. I like to engage. I also like to know where you are watching from, because I know we have people from all over Malaysia. We have also people from different countries. So it's really nice to see all your comments. So today's topic is all about using contractions, particularly using the contraction gonna versus going to. So let me pull up the slides for you. If you're watching me, I can see people watching, but I don't see your comments yet. So say hello to me. Hi, I can see Norhuda. Waalaikumsalam. Hello, Ijum. Waalaikumsalam. Nice to see you here. Thank you. Okay, let me pull up the slides. Hi, Sufia. Hello. Okay. So today's topic is all about using contractions, gonna versus going to. Okay. So let me just say hello to some of you before we start. Hi, Nur Safinat. Good afternoon. Numi Masbud, Waalaikumsalam. Hi. Hi from Johor, Fataria. Nora is here. Hi. Hi, Aisha. Let me know where you are watching from as well. So it's always nice to see your comments. All right. The topic of using contractions, gonna versus going to, we actually got the idea. I actually got the idea to talk about this because on Monday, we reposted a video onto our Facebook page. It was all about how to set goals and stay motivated. And in that video, we mentioned we used the word gonna, right? And then after I posted that video, we saw a comment from someone saying that I prefer that you do not use gonna because it's slang. And another person thought that it's actually incorrect grammar. So for today, I actually already replied to that comment, but I thought it would be great to talk about it because maybe some people think that using gonna is improper grammar. Some people might think that it's not even correct grammar. Some people think that it's slang. So I'm going to talk about that, and so that we're all clear and we know how to actually use gonna versus going to correctly. All right, now I can see where you're watching from. Ijam's watching from Segamat. Cik Ariton's watching from Kelantan, Kota Baru. Hi, Ju is watching from Sarawak. Munira is listening from Bangi. Habiba, hi. Sophia's watching from KB. Zakaria from Penang. Huda's watching from Nilai. Oh, we have someone from Myanmar. Hi, April. Rizwan's watching from Manchester. Hi. We actually grew up in Manchester. I was there for 8 years when I was about 5. I came back, I was about 14. All right. Hi, Zaha. Walaikum salam. Okay. Hi, Madam Zaza. Nice to see you. You're watching from Shah Alam. I'm also watching from Shah Alam. Madam Zaza was one of my lecturers back in UIA. All right, so let's get started, shall we? Using contractions, gonna versus going to. Now, some people ask us, is using gonna correct? Can we use that? Right? So let's talk about this first. So gonna is actually a contraction of going to. And firstly, what are contractions? So a contraction is when you combine two or more words to make them shorter and flow together when speaking. So you might hear native speakers, you might hear people who are fluent in English use gonna when they speak to replace going to. It's usually used when they speak quite fast, right? When I always listen to podcasts, I always listen to people who speak English. I also interact with people who are native speakers, and they always use gonna. It's just part of their daily conversations. So it's actually a contraction when you are combining these two words, going to, it becomes gonna, right? So that's a contraction when you combine two words to make them shorter and flow together when speaking. So in the video that where we used the gonna, we were having a conversation. I was having a conversation with Madam Azima, and that's why we used gonna instead of going to. However, if we speak slower, we would use going to. But because it was in a situation where it was more informal, we were talking to each other, we were having fun and speaking quite fast. That's why we used gonna. So that's what contractions are. Zaha says, Ghana? No, it's actually gonna, right? You would usually hear people who are a bit more fluent use that. But if you're not used to using gonna to say going to, then I would usually say just say going to if it's not natural for you. Okay? So here are some examples of common contractions in English. So I've categorized them. So this one is the to be contractions. I am, you would say I'm. You are, you'd say you're. So let me know, do you actually use these contractions? If you don't, it's fine. But if you do, it does actually make you sound much more natural when you speak English. So instead of saying, you are a girl, you'd say, you're a girl. Okay? He is, you'd say, he's. She is, you would say, she's. It is, you would say, it's, if it was in contracted form. We are, we're. They are, they're. Okay? So try practicing saying this out loud with me at home or wherever you're watching from. These are the to have contractions. I have. You'd say I've. I've. Okay, you would say I have. For example, I have written this book. I've written this book, right? If you would say it faster. You have. You would say you've. He has. He's. She has. She's. And there are more, but this is just a few of them. These are the contractions using will. I will, you'd say I'll. Right? You will, you'd say you'll. He will, you'd say he'll. She will, she'll. Now here are contractions for negatives. Is not, isn't, are not, aren't. You could say aren't or you could say aren't. I would say aren't. I wouldn't really say the R out loud, but that's just the accent that I use. For example, you are not a boy, right? You could say you aren't a boy, or you could say you aren't a boy. Does not, doesn't, did not, didn't, has not, hasn't, have not, haven't, should not, shouldn't, would not, wouldn't, could not, couldn't. Now, I know that a lot of English learners, those who are more at the basic level of English and some intermediate as well, they do not use contractions as much as people who are more proficient or fluent in English. And that's normal because maybe you tend to speak slower than a person who is more fluent and proficient, right? But at the same time, I do want you to try to use contractions when you speak because it will just make you sound a bit more fluent. Okay? So using contractions like gonna to say going to is an accepted part of spoken English. In fact, it can boost your score for pronunciation in an IELTS speaking test. So this is something that was new to me as well, because when we got that comment saying that please don't use gonna to say going to, and we actually did some research because it was never a concern for us. It was never an issue for us to use gonna. And then we found out that some people were just not happy that we used gonna, and we actually Googled it. We actually did some research. And then I found out from this website, it's called the IELTSList.com, I think. And she actually teaches people to prepare for IELTS tests. And she says that it can boost your score for pronunciation if you use contractions. But of course, you have to use them correctly. and you use them in spoken English. All right. So, examples of using gonna in spoken English. She's gonna play futsal with her friends tonight. Human resources are gonna look into this matter. I'm gonna be on leave tomorrow. All right. Can you try saying that out loud with me? I can't hear you, but it's good to practice to see how you sound like. If you think you sound really strange, that's fine. That's what we're all here for, to learn together, right? So just practice saying gonna. It's not gonna or it's not guna. It's just gonna, right? But remember, contractions like gonna are only used in spoken English and not in formal writing. So, formal writing is when you are writing a letter, a business letter, or you are, sending an email to a prospective employer, for example. So, formal writing would not use contractions. Or if you're writing a report, a technical report, avoid using contractions. So the best way for you to write the sentence is to use going to. She's going to play futsal with her friends tonight. Human resources are going to look into this matter. I'm going to be on leave tomorrow. Okay. I would only use contractions when I'm speaking or when I am writing a WhatsApp text to my friends or to somebody that I'm close with. Okay. When it's acceptable, it's not formal. You can also use it if you're writing, if you are transcribing somebody who is speaking, right? If they say something and then you actually have to transcribe what they say, and they say gonna, I think that's fine. But if it was in a formal type of document, then you would have to change it to going to. Okay. Yeah, I can see Mazan saying wanna, S1, wanna, guna. All right. Yeah, wanna is a contraction of want to as well. But there are a lot of contractions, but today we're just going to focus on gonna, just going to, because there's a lot. And this today, I'm trying to keep it short, but I will try to keep it short but informative for you guys. Right. So using gonna versus going to correctly in speaking. Right. So there are situations where you cannot say gonna to replace going to. So I'm going to go into detail about that. Gonna replaces the auxiliary verb phrase going to. Okay, that's what we talked about throughout the session. We only use it when a primary verb comes after the phrase. Now I can see that I'm just imagining that some of you guys will be thinking, what do you mean? So I'm going to show you an example what it means, what I mean by that. I'm going to watch a movie tonight. It's the same as I'm going to watch a movie tonight. So gonna replaces the auxiliary verb phrase, which is also a helping verb phrase, going to. So you only use it when there is a primary verb or a main verb that comes after going to. So in this sentence, sorry, if you are a Members Monthly student, if you're one of our students, you have joined Members Monthly, you may be already familiar with this because we always talk about auxiliary verbs and primary verbs. If you're not yet a student, this is the time for you to join us. But anyway, if you look at this sentence, I'm going to watch a movie tonight. Okay. The main verb of this sentence is actually watch. And going to is called an auxiliary verb phrase. It actually is a helping verb. It's helping this verb, watch. So that's why you can say, I'm gonna watch a movie tonight. Right? I hope that's clear. Now, we're going to talk about when you should not use gonna to say going to. So there are cases where going to is not an auxiliary verb form. Instead, it is the primary verb. Okay, so you cannot say gonna when going to is the primary verb. Are we confused yet? Let me show you. For example, this is incorrect. You can't say, I'm gonna Langkawi for the holidays. I'm gonna school, right? You can't say that. We can say, I'm going to Langkawi for the holidays. I'm going to school. Do you understand? Because going to, it becomes the main verb, the primary verb of the sentence, going. And to is the preposition. Preposition is showing you where you're going. We're going to Langkawi. Okay, I hope that's clear. You can't say, I'm gonna the toilet. You have to say, I'm going to the toilet. Okay, so there's a difference when you use gonna and going to. One is you can use it if it's acts as an auxiliary verb only. If it acts as a primary verb, then you have to say going to. You can't say gonna. Oh, please bigger texting. I'm sorry about that. Let me make it bigger for you. Right, is that bigger? Is that better? Okay. So let me just show you. This is actually my last slide now. If you are not sure whether to use going to or gonna in speaking, just stick to using going to. Okay, because like I mentioned earlier, people who use gonna when they speak are usually more fluent. They're native speakers, or they're more fluent, they're more proficient in English, they're at the advanced level of English. They can speak quite fast, so it just comes naturally for them to say gonna rather than going to. Okay, so let's summarize using contractions: gonna versus going to. Using contractions like gonna to mean going to is an accepted form of spoken English. Okay, so maybe you are somebody who is from the older generation and you think that, you shouldn't be using gonna. It sounds too informal. Well, it's really up to you. It's a preference, but it's not wrong for you to use gonna. But make sure that you do use it correctly. Do not use contractions like gonna in formal writing. Okay, so Noor Azam says, use going to will be accepted for both speaking and writing. Yes, that's correct. That means you can, if you want to be safe, use going to for both speaking and writing. But if you are a bit more advanced, you like using contractions, you speak quite fast, you're quite fluent, you can use gonna when you speak. But just stick to just speaking. Formal writing, always use going to. Do not replace going to with gonna when it's used as the primary verb in a sentence. And if you're not sure when to use gonna, just say going to. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you for joining me. Just wanted to know that before we end the session, that registration for Members Monthly, the October 2022 intake, is now open. So if you have enjoyed this class, this short class we had today, if you want to learn even more with us and you found it valuable, go to myenglishmatters.com/members. We are now open for registration for the October intake. Registration is only open for about a week, so we're actually closing registration next week on Thursday. Today's Thursday, so we're closing registration next Thursday, 6th October. We will have our October class with you, with members, on the 12th of October. So I do hope you can join. You can join for 1 month and you can cancel anytime. If you feel that just 1 month is enough for you, then just join for 1 month, or you can stay for as long as the program is available. We have students who've been with us since we first launched in 2019. They're still with us. They're still learning grammar with us. So we only open registration a few times a year. So this is a time for you to join. All right. So go to myenglishmatters.com/members to learn all about Members Monthly and learn with us every single month on Zoom. All right. Thanks, Noor Azam. Thank you for joining me. And that's all from me for today. I'm actually Amnah, not Madam Azima, but that's fine. Thank you, Sa, for joining. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Zara, Mimoun, Geronimo, thank you. Yeah, I'm Amna, not Azima, but that's fine. Maybe you can't see my name. Okay, here you go. All right. That's all from me for today. Thank you for joining me, and Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.